I think you're excited. I like your face.
I'm very
right
excited.
now.
I mean, I've been thinking about doing sort of a comeback show. Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it. Yeah,
Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah.
Yet. All right. But
hell yeah.
I was thinking of doing something this summer. And then I was just kind of looking at the schedule. I'm like, oh, Major League Baseball trade deadline is this week.
Yeah.
Then I heard about the Kevin Durant trade rumors to the Celtics.
Which is insane.
Now you have all this Tom Brady stuff. The Miami Dolphins.
I know.
We're tampering with Tom Brady.
To be fair, I can't do too much more lawyer stuff with the NFL. If we're just doing rules and tampering, I'm going a little deaf on that one.
I'll get into that. Because I'm not sure I even care right now in 2022. I'm not sure I really care about Brady and the Patriots. Like, that's in the past to me. It took me a while to get over that.
No,
but,
I agree. I completely agree with you. They kind of broke me with Deflategate.
Deflategate. I don't even know why you brought that up. So, yeah, we'll get into all that. And, let's just open it up.
Let's do it.
This is the Danny Picard Show. Again, don't call it a comeback yet, but this is one.
Maybe.
When's the last time I did a show? 2020.
2020,
it was in here.
It was.
With you.
With me.
Producer Paul, who's the producer for the Will Noonan Show.
Yep, the Noonan Show.
I'm sorry. The Noonan. And I think I did that last time, too.
Everyone does it. No, he originally named the show that. And then he texted me back and he was like, no, I'll just do a Noonan Show.
He cut the Will out. What's he think? He's a WWE superstar? He's just cutting out a name.
He does it.
Vince used to change names like that. It would be a first and a last name, and he would take away the first name.
Will does have one match in wrestling. Comedian Will Noonan has one wrestling match.
He has a full match?
I don't know if it's a full match. It's a little bit of a run-in.
Where did he do this?
He got power bombed to the outside of the ring. It's the only thing I'm jealous of.
He got legit power bombed?
He got legit power bombed.
Outside of the ring?
Outside of the ring.
On the mat?
Onto the mat.
I have to see. Is it on video?
I can't find it right now, but I will find it for you.
This isn't on video? Then I don't believe it.
It is on video.
You saw this?
I've seen it on video. I wasn't there personally.
Wow.
I saw it on video.
I did not know that. I knew he was involved in a match. I've been involved in it.
He's a borderline famous comedian. It's the only thing I'm jealous of.
Borderline?
It's the only thing I'm jealous of.
Will, that's your guy saying that, not me. Okay? I consider Will Noonan a famous comedian. This is the Will Noonan studio, the Noonan Show studio.
This is the Brick Wall Magic studio.
This is the Brick Wall Magic studio. I'm getting it all wrong. But I was in here 2020, summer of 2020, COVID.
Yeah. We were in the thick of it.
I thought COVID was starting to go away, right? Because I remember we talked. I'm like, I'm done with masks. This was July of 2020.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done with masks, this and that. And then COVID just stuck around, and they're still doing it in professional sports because players that don't get vaccinated can't go play against the Blue Jays in Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, that even factored into the trade deadline and what players the teams are going to get if they were vaccinated or not.
You have to at least have the conversation, right? You're talking about, you don't know what the future holds.
I mean, you do have to have the conversation, but I really wish the conversation they would have is that the policy is irrational.
Yeah.
Because by the way, you can have this conversation and not be anti-vaccine. Okay. Let's try to compartmentalize COVID discussions. This country just can't do it.
It doesn't need to be binary. It doesn't need to be binary at all.
But I think what we can talk about and what we should talk about in the sports world when it comes to the Blue Jays and the COVID policy is the policy's irrational. The vaccine doesn't prevent transmission. We've known that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm actually anti-mandate. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti-mandate. Now, if you told me the vaccine prevented transmission, then you would crush COVID. And you should mandate it to every human on Earth. But that they told us that's not true. The CDC director, Rachel Walensky, she came out and said a year and a half ago, it does not prevent transmission. So if it doesn't prevent transmission, and this is up to the sports media, by the way, and they're just not going to do it because they're exhausting buffoons. But what the conversation they should be having is, all right, let's stop attacking the players that don't have the vaccine. Sure, you could feel a certain way about them, about that, fine. But how about we have a discussion about the policy being stupid? And maybe Major League Baseball should do something and step in and say, look, you're either going to play your games down in Florida again because the Blue Jays were playing in Florida during COVID, or you're going to do something for the Major League Baseball players when they come to Toronto to play the Blue Jays, the ones that aren't vaccinated, allow them to get in and play.
Let's figure this out. This isn't...
The policy is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But all the media wants to do is crush the guys who don't have the vaccine rather than have the logical argument of, guys, don't you think this policy makes no sense and we should start putting pressure on that? They won't do it. It's exhausting. I'm
ball.
Sorry that we started with COVID. I did not want to do that.
Well, it's your first time back.
Done.
It's your okay, but it's your first time back
with COVID. I'm done. We've moved on.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I did want to jump on and do something because I have been a little more active on Instagram.
Okay.
And so you've seen it. I've announced what my newest venture is.
Very excited
right?
for it.
And for the people that don't know, it's an indoor golf club in Southie on Broadway, 19th hole bar and sports lounge. I'm excited for it. There's some construction issues right now, but we are planning to be ready for all the golfers all over Massachusetts, all over New England, all over the world if you come visit during the winter. We'll be ready for you this winter.
That's amazing.
And this has been in the works since 2019, and then COVID hit. Set some things back. I stepped away from the show because, not just because I needed to go all in on that, but there was some other stuff in my personal life that I was dealing with that happened to me late 2018. And COVID happened, and I explained this in one of my Instagram posts in sort of a creative way. I did it. I don't know. Some people might not even caught it. It was at the end of a like 10 slide post.
So you made him work for it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, part of me was embarrassed that I did step away and the reasons were somewhat emotional, right? I just had to hit the reset button on my professional life, my personal life, on everything. And meanwhile, I was putting this project together and, it's come together. We're full steam ahead right now.
Hell yeah.
And it's just, there are some delays on the construction end, but it's nothing that nobody else is dealing with in the city of Boston right now. Like the whole city, anybody who's doing construction or dealing in the construction industry right now, there's issues. I mean, there's an increase in the cost of goods. That inflation, that hits
real.
hard. And I didn't think it would hit me hard, but here we are. And so there's some stuff going on. We're going to get through it. We'll be ready for you this winter, for all the golfers in the area and anybody who comes in. But I'm excited for it. And then with this show, with my brand that I've spent the last 15 plus years building, it was hard for me to step away, but I needed to do it. What was harder for me than stepping away was stepping away and not really opening up about why I was stepping away. I mean, I just, I don't like getting personal on social media or on this show. And, there's part of me that felt like nobody really deserved to know. This is my own personal stuff, and it's just, I don't know. But I'm past it, right? We're on to Cincinnati, and I'm excited for what's ahead. And this summer, I knew I wanted to pump out some type of show because, like we just opened up with, I haven't been in here I haven't done a show since 2020. Yeah. And it was right here in this studio, the Brick Wall Magic Studio, the Noonan Show studio. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to the Noonan Show.
Oh, thank you.
He's got another show too, right? The Soft Boys podcast.
With Andrew Delavope. Yep. Great podcast.
Yep. I subscribe to that. I follow them on social media. Great show. So I haven't been in here since 2020. And I reached out to you the other day, or last week, and I said, hey, let's fire it up. I got to do something. There's a lot of stuff going on. I have to update some people on what's happening. And I say don't call this a comeback, ... yet, because...
This is like calling your shot, though. This is what you're doing.
There's other stuff going on, too, other than the indoor golf club. And I just want to say that when I did step away and hit the reset button on the show, it was temporary. And my full expectation was for it to be temporary. I mean, before I stepped away, I had broken one of the biggest stories in sports. Yeah. The sign stealing in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Which, there's a lot of people that didn't give me the credit I probably deserved. But then I had another report in which I talked to active players, hitters, pitchers, and this was after Cora got ousted from the Red Sox, got suspended, got ousted. And I wanted to give the other side of the story. And I didn't have an outlet to write for. I mean, everything in my professional life had fallen apart as well. And I was a columnist for the Metro. They shut down.
Yeah.
So I have my website, DannyPicard.com, and it's pinned to the top of the website to this day. It's a long, I mean, it could probably be a book, the amount of words that I wrote in that. But I had quotes from active players. I wish I could tell you one of the players who was an anonymous source, because I just Instagram messaged him. And he got back to me, and we talked for like 2 hours.
Wow.
And a lot of the quotes are from him, an active hitter. And I just can't say who it is.
Of course.
Never will.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I put that story out there, you know, there were some outlets that had me on as a guest afterwards, but it didn't get what it should have got. You know, I looked around and I thought, if anybody else put this story out there,
yeah,
I have a feeling they would have been at least getting one job interview. Hey, come write for us.
There would have been a book.
Come report for me. Come do this with us.
There would have been a book
deal. I didn't get any of that, though. I did get one interesting thing. Some months later, I put that out in January 2020, I think. The summer of 2020. And I'm only saying this because he unfollowed me on Twitter, and I am pissed about this. So 6 months after that story came out, I don't even know why. I'm trying to think of, this is probably like June of 2020. I got a message on Twitter. I think it was around the time the Yankees, something came out with the Yankees and they did something, or the Dodgers. I
forget now.
I stopped paying attention to it. But my phone lit up with someone who followed me on Twitter. And I was like, oh shit. It was Alex Cora.
Oh shit.
Manager of the Red Sox.
See, like, at least he
followed me on Twitter. Now, I couldn't get any media outlet to even, you know, consider hiring me after that, after all these stories, breaking all this news on sign stealing, talking to all these major league players, big name players anonymously, breaking all this stuff. They didn't want anything to do with me. I don't know why. Fuck them. You know, your loss.
You can't worry at that
I can't get that, but I can get the manager of the Red Sox, the guy who I defended in that story on the top of my website to this day. He followed me on Twitter, and then he sent me a message.
Ooh.
This is 6 months after the story. He sent me a message. And I'm actually going to get up right now. You don't change the cameras. I'm going to let you read the message. Okay. I'm going to let you read this. Just the top line.
Oh, shit.
Read what that says.
It says, you were right since day one. That probably meant a lot for him, for someone to have his back, though.
The manager of the Boston Red Sox. Now, granted, he wasn't the manager at the time. I believe he was ousted. Right?
Yeah. But it almost feels like he always was, because he's back.
Yeah, I think unofficially, you know, Ron Renicky took over. But he sent me a message. You were right since day one. You're damn right I was right since day one. How come I can't get a look from any of these companies? Yeah, any of these media outlets. And it's just, I think when that happened, I got that message. I didn't really hear from anybody. I felt like everybody in that industry just didn't value anything I did, and I thought that was absolute bullshit. You know, I spent a handful of years at WEEI.
Yeah.
I left there. They didn't value what I was doing. And it took its toll. You know, you put in, because I look around and I just see all these people, and I know this sounds like sour grapes, and I know it sounds like borderline jealousy, but maybe it is jealousy. I mean, I am jealous of some of the people that are now big name players in the sports media game, sports entertainment game, that didn't have to put the work in that I put in. You know, they weren't covering cross country track meets in 2008 on Saturday mornings, right? They weren't doing that shit like that. They weren't going out selling their own advertisements to have their own show on a radio station out in Needham, which you couldn't even hear the station if you were in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like small stations like that. I mean, people that didn't put in the work and got opportunities just handed to them. I would see all that, and then I would do all this, and I would get messages like that from the manager of the Red Sox, the guy that I was defending in that piece. And by the way, I still defend him. I know I say that's a private message, but in hindsight, I think maybe he wanted me to go public with that, Because he unfollowed me after. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's not going to report this?
I gave him this?
Report this? I'm like, all right, so I might as well tell someone. And I haven't really been active on any shows or anything since. But that you saw it. Yeah. That was Alex Cora.
That was Alex Cora.
Messaging me. You've been
100% Alex Cora.
And that's a huge story. But, I mean, it all pissed me off. And that was kind of the tipping point.
I can understand
when I
why.
put that story out and I looked around and it was still...
because you got real validation, but you didn't get validation that you should have got from
I got validation from the guy that I was defending.
Exactly. And it should have been from people who were your peers, who should have been your peers.
Well, not even my peers. Well, how about employers? I mean, I'm trying to make a living, too.
Yeah,
I was in a situation where, holy shit. I mean, look, I'm in my late 30s.
Yeah.
Like, I've been grinding away at this for years, and I've been doing... it's funny because there's so many in the industry, especially at WEEI, that will be like, oh, Picard only wanted to do things on his own. And it's like, well, no. Well, here's the deal. I had to do things on my own because you weren't letting me get involved doing it the normal way. So I had to go out, do things on my own, do all this stuff just to get to the doorway to be able to knock that fucking door down.
Well, and also, you were right. The media was changing. It was going to exactly what you did. Just saying, that was a long time ago, man. You were right. You were correct. It's not this old media anymore.
Look, I've been, not to pump my own tires too much, but I've been ahead of the game on what's next in digital media for a long time.
Yeah.
I started a podcast in 2007.
Yeah, exactly.
How many people were doing podcasts in 2007? I mean, I have messages from people, big names in the entertainment industry right now, that I mean, I'm not going to go public with who, but were asking me how to do podcasting.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked at the people that were asking me how to do podcasting. And these same people wouldn't give me a look if I paid them to give me a look.
Yeah.
And so when people say, oh, he only wanted to do things on its own, it's like, yeah, I did things on my own. I didn't choose that way. I did that way because I had to, because you wouldn't let me in. And maybe they wouldn't let me in because I wasn't just going in for a weekend slot. I took it. When WEEI first came to me.
You took whatever.
No, I mean, I was supposed to go in a larger role.
Yeah.
I was at NBC Sports Radio out in Marina Bay, and I was every weekday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. I thought there were big things happening there. They just brought in Pete Shepard when I was there at that time. And I thought they were going to do big things. It was 15:10 a.m. Used to be 15:10 The Zone. And I had been on 15:10 even years before that with Jeff Howe and Jackie Owens. And, just grinding away. But when EEI brought me in, it was supposed to be me and Lou Merloni in a major daily slot. That was the conversation we were having. Yeah, I was going to start off on weekends, and I was going to do something on like Monday nights or something. I think it was like a Monday night, post-Monday night football show or something. But the ultimate goal was they were making moves, and it was going to be me and Lou Merloni doing a show in a major daily slot. This is like, dude, this is back in 2013.
Okay.
Summer of 2013. And I verbally agreed. I was meeting with Jason Wolf, who was the program director at the time. I was meeting with him and not at WEEI. This was away from the station. I mean, these were private conversations. This was a big fucking deal. I think it was a big deal to them. It was a huge deal to me.
And EI needed something right around that time,
and I verbally agreed. And I remember people at 15:10 were coming to me being like, oh, you're going to do this? Like, so word was getting out. And then I'll never forget this. I was on 15:10, 1 foot out the door, doing a show. And I'm on Twitter during the show. Jeff Howe was a guest. He works for The Athletic. He's an NFL reporter. Thank God he's long-winded. Jeff is, I love him, but he's long-winded. He'll go on and on. It's great. I love having him on when I did my show for that reason. But thank God he was long-winded. Because as he was talking, I'll never forget, I'm on Twitter. And Chad Finn tweeted out, Jason Wolf out at Entercom. And I was like, motherfucker. Shit. And I wanted to like throw up. Right that moment. Because I was like, because I was half 1 foot out the door at this place, and everybody at 15:10 was like, are you here? Pete Shepard was calling me like, you better fucking get something in writing from them. Like, people knew. And I was playing dumb. I was like, it was a tough spot because I was so grateful to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony Pepe, all those guys, like they were so good to me, and
you weren't leaving on a bad term.
I just, I'm a loyal dude. Like that's what I am. That's almost too loyal. It's almost a flaw.
It's a good. I feel like it's good for your soul, but it's not good for business.
No, and so I really wasn't being loyal in that moment, and it was a weight on my shoulders, especially when people would come to me and know the details of what they were talking about, what WEEI and the role they had set up for me before I even got there, before I even signed on the dotted line.
Yeah.
But it was a huge spot for me, and I had talked to Lou Merlone before I was there. He reached out to me, we talked, and to this day, me and Lou Merlone should have a show on WEEI. Like the fact that they never went back to that. So it's actually a long story. These are things I've never told before, by the way. This should be on Patreon. I should make people pay for this shit. I didn't expect to get into this, but I do feel like maybe people deserved an explanation. I owed it to them to
just paint a little bigger
tell them
picture.
where I've been, like why I was so frustrated during 2020 and had to hit the reset. Just my mindset was all over the place with this industry and all the work I put in. But when that was all going on, Jason Wolf got fired. And I didn't know how to handle that. A new guy came in and called me, and I forget the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure he had a Southern accent. I think he might have been from Texas. So new program director. Yeah. And he was telling me I don't know what you guys had planned, but I heard you were involved and we're bringing you in and we're just going to, hit the brakes on that and not do that. And I was like, you're shitting me.
Yeah.
And so then 15-10, they call me in. I was gone there. They told me the show was ending. I never really got a good explanation for it. And so then I had nothing. I just had my podcast back in my apartment. And then time went by and here's who they hired, the guy, Tim Benz. Tim Benz went in. He was from Pittsburgh.
Okay. And
went in with Lou Merlone. I think that's when they brought Christian Fourier in. But I don't even know where I was going. I don't even know where I was going with that. But I guess my point was I had spent so many years there. And everybody was like, oh, he only wants to do stuff by himself. Well, no. I agreed to go there to do a show with someone else.
Yeah.
Here's another little nugget for you. Here's another nugget I agreed to. And they might not like that. Maybe they will. I was going to do a Saturday morning show with Mike Giardi. Okay. And they were getting rid of Mustard and Johnson for this show. Now, that didn't happen either. And Mustard and Johnson stuck around, I think, for another 3 or 4 years. But that was another thing that we agreed to. So there was a lot going on. I was excited. And then there were a couple other program directors. They finally brought me back to do weekends. But my point is, I didn't just go there to do weekends.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where they overlooked me for everything. And I had some meetings and things that was said to me. It was just kind of head scratching. Man, why are you saying this? You're not, I'm supposed to be an up and coming young talent that you have a future planned here for. And it's almost like you're just happy to have me fill in during the times when you're out in your boat. Yeah, and you don't need to listen because I'm just good enough that I'm not going to fucking burn this place down. I'm not going to fuck shit up. Yeah. Right. And I didn't want to be just in that spot. And I expressed that many times. And, it just wasn't getting through and they weren't buying into me. And I was frustrated and just became a place I was not happy being there. And it affected me. It affected my work.
In your sleep, you have something better too at that point. So that's frustrating every time. It's just grinding. It's grinding.
No, I didn't have anything better.
No, I think you would, though. I'm saying you
think I had planned for myself something better?
I'm saying if you were just magically put in that situation, you'd have a better show than that show. 100%. I know you would.
Of course.
I fucking know you would.
But I was in that slot, and then everything got pushed back, and it wasn't working out. And I'm not trying to kill the station. The stations, I think they're just being crushed by ratings anyways. And I hope that they pick it up because I do like people there, and I don't want to see people lose their livelihoods over there. Like, it's just not. That was another thing too. I was in a position where for like 4 or 5 years, I had to sit there and almost like beg for people to get fired, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, no, I don't want. That's bad karma, man. I'm not here for that. And then when someone did lose their job, I'm thinking, all right, I'm the next guy. I'm ready. Here we go. And then it was someone from another station. Someone comes out of retirement. You know, meetings don't go well with me after that. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And so I had to leave. And, I left respectfully. It was nothing, that I focused on the podcast and that didn't really, pan out the way I expected it to. And then my life didn't pan out the way I expected it to. And I went through some shit. And now I'm something completely different with this new venture, Broadway Golf Club in Southie. But do I have some media stuff? Is the podcast going to return in a full capacity at some point? I don't know. Maybe. I'm having discussions with people. I can tell you that. I mean, there's discussions about things going on left and right. There's a lot going on right now behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can imagine you have a lot of moving parts right now.
There's a lot going on, man. And I tell you what, like the stress, it hits you. I'm drinking 4 coffees a day.
I said it to you off air, but I didn't think what you're doing is possible for a Southie kid to have this insult. I didn't
indoor golf.
Anything, any business here. I didn't think it was possible for us at this point. Just for how many hoops and how much money you have to pull in early. I'm blown. I'm blown away.
Let me tell you about money. I have no more of it.
I'm blown away that you. This is by the grit of your teeth. I know it is. I know because it's just not possible. This doesn't happen anymore.
It's a relentless pursuit. I'll tell you that. But it's another reason why I stepped away. Like I had to go all in on. I had to focus all my time, all my energy, all the things that I've just explained to you that I felt in the media career was dragging me down. It was making me bitter. It was almost making me a bad person. I almost contributed to some of the things that had gone wrong in my life and that it changed me and changed my personality off the air where I was just kind of a miserable person to be around. And, I looking back on it and looking at myself in the mirror, I mean, I'm my own biggest critic. I'm not trying to make it sound like I didn't do things wrong when I was in the media. I did. Of course I did. I handled some things the wrong way. But I don't regret even those things I handled the wrong way. Like, I don't regret it. I don't regret anything that happened because I have opened a door. There's a door that's been open for me. And it was kind of the door I hoped would open if I pulled myself out of the media temporarily, full time, pulled myself out. And here we are. And so I have a new venture. I'm excited about it. Again, I hope to be open this winter. I didn't mean to go off into that tangent about everything. I would say hopefully Alex Cora doesn't unfollow me on Twitter, but he already did. So we already lost that connection. But Alex, if you want to write the book, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll write the book with you. I have no problem doing that. I honestly thought something like that would be possible. And then, of course, you unfollow me. But there's a lot of things I'd like to talk about too. Outside of all that, outside of my personal life, my personal career. This is kind of why I wanted to jump on a podcast to rant a little bit.
Yeah, that's the fun. That's the fun of this, right?
I mean, that's what I do. That's my bread and butter, ranting. I will say though, do you golf?
Not for a long time, but that's what I was going to say. I don't golf because there's not a lot of great places around here and I'm lazy, but that's perfect for me. Go there because I also get embarrassed because I haven't played for so long. I'm not that good. So like, that's a place for me. Hone a couple skills, prove a couple of friends wrong.
So there's going to be someone giving lessons.
Okay.
We'll have club fitting.
I love this.
6 simulators. I don't even know how many of the details people know. I forget what we posted on Instagram. I think we posted something on Twitter.
I like it for another reason too, because I love bars. I love restaurants, but it's time for Celtie to just have another thing. I want like another fun thing. Like we just have such like one flavor. Now we get another thing. Now we get a fun indoor thing. Like this is good in so many levels.
Yeah, it's going to be great. 6 simulators, 5 regular simulators, 1 VIP room. Like I said, a 19th hole bar and sports lounge.
Hell yeah.
With the gambling being legalized, we have plans for something. I'm not going to get into too much of that, but
Something fun.
Sportsbook style fun, let's call it.
Hell yeah.
In there. That's all I can really get into. But there's conversations now going on. Serious. There's always been conversations, but now they're serious because of the sports betting in Massachusetts being legalized as of the other day. And I think it's January. Is that what it's going to be?
I think so. I think it's still tentative. I don't think there's a set date yet, but it's soon.
January.
Yeah.
I think. Let's just call it January. So I'm hoping that we'll be ready then.
Yeah.
Broadway Golf Club, I'm hoping we'll be ready by. I hate even saying a month because then you disappoint people when when something happens with construction that sets you back a month or two. Obviously hoping no more COVID setbacks with shutdowns.
Yeah.
That would be bad for business. But the sports betting thing is huge. I can't believe
it's fun too. It makes it a little fun.
I mean, I can't believe it took that long to become legalized in Massachusetts. What do you think the reason is?
I think
for that. Like, what do people think?
I think they waited long enough where they could figure out how to comb as much money as they could out of it.
All right, so you think that? I mean,
I think it's purely money. It's always money and stupidity. That's the answer to every question.
That seems too obvious, though. That they wanted a larger piece of the pie. The politicians and the state, they wanted a bigger piece of the pie. I just think that's too obvious.
I think it is.
I actually think it's even more simple than that.
Okay.
I think it's just ego. It was ego driven. And I've sensed this through COVID too. And even going back to what we opened with the vaccine policy and how the media just won't even consider like criticizing the policy rather than criticizing the player who makes a personal decision. I think what I learned is that, and it's not something I learned during this, but it just kind of was in the spotlight. And I think about it more now. One of the toughest things to do as a human is admit you were wrong. Admit you were wrong. We're seeing that with COVID. And I think we saw that with the sports betting in Massachusetts, with politicians. They were dead wrong.
I think you're right. I think there's something to it.
They were dead wrong. And if you're a politician, I mean, I get it.
To look tall, smile, and be right.
I like all these guys, and they've supported me.
Inspire confidence.
And I will continue to vote for those guys, like, Ed Flynn, Nick Collins, Mike Flaherty. Those are my guys. Like, I'm going to vote for them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Those are my guys. But not even just singling them out for this, but everybody, every politician in Massachusetts, when it came to sports betting, I think there was a moment where they all looked around and to a man privately said, this is a dumb fight. And we were wrong.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
All of a sudden, everybody else around them's doing it. And the longer that spiraled, the more their egos got in the way. Because what's their job as a politician? Other than the issues, I get it. They care about the issues. But really, their job to get votes is to convince their constituents that their way is the right way
to run this thing.
Here's what they think is the right thing to do, and they're right, so you should vote for me. And they fought sports betting
forever.
This is not good.
The kids. Think of the kids.
And I think they just had a tough time putting their egos aside and admitting they were wrong.
I think there's part of that, but I think
that's the biggest part.
I still go to money.
Like, I don't mean to make it sound like
I know what you're saying, but there's got to be more because it took such a long time. There has to be more to it. So I think and ego's strong. I said money and stupidity, but ego's right up there too.
Ego, but I'm glad. Look, I'm glad it's going to be legalized. My sister lives in Jersey.
Okay, I've never done a legal bet.
When we go down, I go on the sportsbook apps. Okay, and I'm not going to say they got to pay for that shit.
Yeah.
I go on the sportsbook apps, and it's so easy to gamble.
So fun.
I find myself.
Do you like to gamble anyway? Because I only do.
I think what's easy about it is obviously the phone becomes the kiosk, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're in a casino when you're just sitting in the backyard sipping on a Corona.
Yeah. Like, it would make this fight a little more fun.
This fight. How about this? How about golf?
Okay.
You can bet on each hole.
Oh God!
Like first on the fairway, first to the green.
I was betting
like Russian table tennis. And I would just take the favorite. And a lot of times the favorite will win. It's small money. Like I'm putting, $2 here, $2 here. But fun, this is your kiosk.
Yeah.
And it's linked to your debit card. And you're just pulling the money out. It's just so easy.
It's a video game.
It is. Look, it is dangerous, right? I don't.
No, it is. It definitely is. Because what you just said is why people are afraid of it. Like it's just so easy.
It is easy, but I mean, everyone's doing it. It's just technology. Like
I just think it. I'm not a big gambler at all, but I like just every once in a while, just a little, just like a big fight.
Get a taste.
Yeah, just because it just makes
you gotta dabble.
It even gets my attention. Like now I'm watching. Now I'm watching every bit of this thing.
Yeah,
like it's fun. It's just a fun little thing, and we should be able to do it. We're adults.
So we get that coming right in January. And I'm hoping to mix something. I'm hoping to mix that into Broadway Golf Club. That's the plan. There'll be we're having conversations right now, but yeah. So that's the update on everything. And what did I miss the last 2 years? What do I need to get caught up on? How much time do we got? What time is it?
It is.
Have I already spent too much time on?
No, it's not too much time. It was 2 years. You did.
It's been a long time. What's happened recent? So the biggest story of the summer. There is a story I think is the biggest story of the summer.
Okay.
That's a tease. I'll get to that. Let me just do a couple quick hitters on what I think on some stuff. We mentioned Tom Brady, Miami Dolphins. They are being
punished already. Yeah.
They're getting a first-round pick taken away next year and a third-round pick in 2024. The owner, Stephen Ross of the Dolphins, is being suspended through October, I think. Whatever that means. Yeah, suspend the owner, whatever that means, right? Through October. Ooh, right?
That's so funny.
Scary stuff. Yeah. How will he survive? How will Stephen Ross survive that one? But apparently they have been tampering with Tom Brady since 2019.
Yeah.
He was with the Patriots at the time.
And then again.
But I was surprised. I was really surprised that people were so upset about this. People in New England were upset about this. And I'm like, I don't know. There was a point in time I would have been upset, but that time is not now.
Well,
I'm over it.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know. When Tom Brady left, were you just like, okay, now I'm done with Tom Brady? Okay.
That took a while to get over.
Okay, but I mean, like, did you follow him? You still like?
I watched the Buccaneers.
Okay, see, same with me. So there was two people. There was two types of people. Some people were just like, I worship the jersey. Tom Brady's dead to me. I was the other way. I worship the player.
I don't understand those people because Tom Brady if he wanted to ask for the most money out of any player in the history of the league every single year, he was worthy of getting that. He had every right to do that. He didn't do that.
No. He almost never did that.
I think going back to how I felt when he left, I do think the Patriots had an opportunity to put their ego aside and be like, all right, what do we got to do to get you to end your career in a Patriots uniform?
Yeah.
Here's a check. It's blank. What's the number?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the number? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, the salary cap in the NFL. We know that can be manipulated. Yeah, we know you can manipulate the salary cap in the NFL. If you're still fighting against that fight and saying you can't, you're an idiot. You can. It's true. It happens. You can do it.
It's not the NHL.
Done it for Tom Brady? Yeah, they should have done it for Tom Brady. When he left, was I devastated? Of course I was devastated. When I saw him win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, was that like a dagger through the chest? Yeah, it was tough to watch. As it should have been the Patriots. The Cam Newton era was tough.
Yeah.
Even the first year of Mac Jones was tough.
Yeah.
I like Mac Jones.
I'm like
glad
him too.
They drafted him. It's just not the same level
Tom
of
Brady.
expectation. Yeah. With Brady, the expectation was we're going to win the division. We're going to get to the AFC Championship game. And then we have a chance to win the Super Bowl. We're going to be a Final Four team in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
You don't have that now. And anybody who does, they're just kidding themselves. Right? They're kidding themselves. It's wishful thinking. And so, yeah, it took me a while. I mean, I was watching Buccaneers games just as much. I was watching Patriots games. I wasn't not watching Patriots games, right? Yeah. I watched every Patriots game. You still feel that fire for the team. But there was something missing. And watching the Buccaneers, I found myself rooting for the Buccaneers, right? I found myself hoping they would win. And And in a way, it was almost like I was rooting for both teams equally. Sometimes I was rooting more for the Buccaneers, obviously, because they would go further. You know, they went deeper into the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl and then lost in the NFC Championship last year, I think, to the Rams, right?
Yep.
So, but I'm not. But this stuff about the Miami Dolphins and all right, Brady was tampering. Brady was talking to them in 2019. Yeah. It's like.
Don't they all do this slightly?
Everybody's tampering.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like sign stealing in baseball. What I try to tell you. Why I defended Alex Cora. Yeah. Everybody's doing it. And what did he say to me? You were right since day one. I'm right since day one about this. Tampering is a real thing. It happens in every sport. I have seen text messages on players' phones in other sports. One other sport in particular, where it was a Boston GM texting the player, and it said, "Come to Boston and be a legend." And this player was with another team, under contract with another team. And so I think he might have been, he was going to be a restricted free agent, maybe. He wasn't a free agent yet, so it was tampering.
Yeah.
Similar to the Dolphins reaching out to Brady and his agent, Don Yee. I've seen it. It happens. Like, I've read it on players' phones.
It's crazy to believe that it doesn't happen.
Of course it happens. Everybody knows each other. Everybody talks, especially in the days of...
The NFL even has a tampering, basically, grace period that they built into the...
They do, right? It's like a legal tampering period, they call it. It's a legal tampering. They have it. So, yeah, it's bullshit. But the NFL, they're going to do what they're going to do with suspensions. Deshaun Watson, what's he suspended? 6 games?
Yeah.
Only 2 more games for the guy they suspended for... air pressure in a football.
It's
so funny.
No
they
sense.
point out. I see people point out all these suspensions on social media. Like, oh, this guy got 5 for this. Ray Rice only got 2 for knocking out his girl in an elevator. Which was I don't know how he wasn't just like
brutal. Yeah.
Suspended for life.
Yeah.
Only 2 games. Like when you think about that, it's like what the hell was going on there? But they don't mention Brady was suspended 4 games for the air pressure in a fucking football.
For volume.
Like, what? Does anybody think back at that and go, how dumb was that situation?
Oh, and it ate up so much of our time.
And I feel like I had a pretty unique take on it, which was, I think there was some that thought he did it, punish him. And there were others thought there's no way he did it. It's a lie. I was like, of course he did it.
They all do.
Of course he did it. Aaron Rodgers said that he does things to the football to get it to he wants more air pressure in it. Yeah. Brady wanted less.
It's his little hands. No.
They in the reports, the Deflategate reports, they show that Brady was mad after the Jets game. He was mad at the officials because they tested the PSI and the officials went in and pumped more air pressure in the football than there was supposed to be. And Brady was like, what are you guys doing? You're over pumping the football. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm going to have this fat trainer go in the bathroom and take some air out of the footballs because you guys are overstuffing them. Yeah. I mean, it just seems so logical to me that that's what was going on. But do you punish him 4 games? No, that's so stupid. And I just feel like that's a unique take, and no one else. People will you could say I'm on the fence, but I'm not. I think he took...
That's reality. That's reality.
I think he took air pressure out of the football.
Well, it's like we were saying earlier. Everything's binary. People want to be this or that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a little of both.
But, I mean, the Brady's... I don't even know how he got on Deflategate. What are you doing to me? Paul, what are you doing to me?
You back.
Deflategate.
I think you're back.
My blood pressure right now is through the roof, even thinking about that story. But, where was I? So I don't care about the tampering with Brady. I just don't.
I agree.
There was a time and place where I would care. That time is not now. Brady's gone.
I'm interested in how people make that story. Because I think to me, it's a borderline non-story. I want to see how they kind of...
Why is it just coming out now?
Because they want it to.
Like, why is the story just coming out now? The story that's... we talk about the Boston sports-related stories. And I mentioned this too. I teased it a little bit. The Kevin Durant situation. I say situation because he requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. And there was a report the other day that said the Celtics were interested.
It's supposedly an offer.
And they actually made an offer, reportedly. Now I think that offer is being questioned because they don't say it actually was. It was just being discussed. It wasn't an offer that was made. I think it was with a
there was an offer.
Fight.
Yeah.
The Celtics made them an offer.
It was on a burner phone, but it was an offer.
And that offer reportedly was Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a draft pick.
And that's about what you'd have to do, I think,
too. And the Nets rejected and then counted, and they said, no, we want Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and multiple first-round picks.
Yeah.
Now, the Celtics rejected that, obviously. If I'm the Celtics, I reject that politely. I don't hang the phone up on them and say, fuck you, no way, there's no way we're going to do that. Say, you know what, guys? That's too much for us, but we got a long summer.
Yes.
Why don't you guys...
We'll think about it. Why
don't you guys go see what you can get? If you can get something better, come back to it. If you can get something better than Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first-round pick, come back to us.
Yeah.
And maybe we could talk. And maybe we will throw in Marcus Smart. Maybe we'll throw you 2 first-round picks. Maybe instead of Smart, maybe we'll give you Robert Williams.
Yeah.
We'd rather have Smart than Williams.
If you're going to win championships, you want Smart.
I did the trade machine on ESPN.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams for Kevin Durant works.
Wow.
So you could do Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, 2 first-round picks. I think if you offered that
maybe
to them,
a little money back.
I think if you offered that to Brooklyn right now, they would take it. Here's what I'm really surprised at. So I'm surprised at a couple things, and maybe I shouldn't be because it's just a lot of stupidity that you hear out there when it comes to the, sports here in this town, especially with the media. I'm surprised, shocked at how many people wouldn't trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant.
It's insane.
Like, what? What do you mean? Hold on.
He's 7-1.
What do you mean you won't trade Jaylen Brown
and I love
for Kevin
Brown.
Durant? And that's not a knock on Jaylen Brown.
Not at all.
It's not a knock on the fact that he can't dribble for his life and he turns the ball over at a rate that makes me want to rip my TV off the wall.
It was a couple of rough games in the playoffs.
But he is somebody that, let's call it what he is. He's the Robin to Tatum's Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a bad thing. Jaylen Brown's still a very good player.
It's a great player.
But I don't know that he's a great player.
He's not a franchise player.
He's not an average player.
He's not a franchise player.
He's a franchise player with a Tatum. He's a Robin to Tatum's Batman. That's where he's a franchise player.
He's a Pippin.
And I have no problem if you kept the team as it was and you went for another run next year. They just traded for Malcolm Brogdon. Who they get? Gallinari.
Yeah, I could see that. I could say load up one more year. Let's do this. All
right. Maybe they do some of the trade deadline. Who knows? If you want to make a run with this team, fine. But if Durant is available and you're telling me they're interested in a package that
is not much bigger than
centered around Jaylen Brown, and you would say, no, we're not trading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. You are so brainwashed. I don't know how. Like, what's brainwashing you? Why wouldn't you trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant? It makes no sense to me. I know Kevin Durant's 33. He's going to be 34 in September, I think. He's got 4 years left in his deal. It's a massive deal, but I just told you the trade machine, the money works.
Well, do you remember Tommy Heinsohn didn't want Kevin Garnett because he didn't want to give up Al Jefferson? And then as soon as he saw Kevin Garnett, he knew what he wanted, and that's exactly what would happen.
That's a great analogy. I do think that Jaylen Brown, this Celtics team's in a better spot than that Celtics team was with Al Jefferson.
Oh yeah, of course.
Jaylen Brown's better than Al Jefferson. I think.
To play devil's advocate, though, I think I know why people have a little bit of a complaint with him.
That?
He appears to be soft. He wants to, even just requesting on
Durant.
and even just requesting all these trades. And there's something when you first look at it, you're like, maybe this guy's the problem. Maybe he just has no attitude. He just doesn't care enough. I don't even know what the problem is. But when I look at him, I don't see fire. I see the best basketball player in the league, but I don't see like this little heart. I'm devil advocate there because I do the trade. Even when you say Marcus Smart, I'm like, maybe less first round picks. I still do the trade, but I can still see Durant's not as pristine as he used to be. There's an argument that he's soft. There's an argument.
I hear that argument. I hear what you're saying. You're not the first person to say that. I just disagree. I think it's easy for us non-professional athletes to see something on social media, to see the way a guy reacts and call him soft or I don't think, look, Kevin Durant was a stud in the NBA Finals with Golden State.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I mean, look what he did in college with Texas, right? He was a stud. He's been a stud everywhere he's gone. You're not soft. I don't think you could be called soft to be that good at that high of a level for this long. I think frustrated.
Possibly,
I think he's frustrated. The Kyrie Irving thing, and I even think
tough guy to be around.
Yeah, I mean, man. But you talk about irrational COVID policies. Visiting players,
sitting front row.
Visiting players,
yeah.
The whole thing is they're on the court together, and then they get to the bench and they have to put a mask on. It doesn't make any sense. It's the dumbest thing. It's irrational.
Yeah.
Right?
They lost their minds a little bit there. Yeah.
Completely lost their minds. But it's not. They didn't lose their minds. They're just virtue signaling through politics. Like, that's all this is.
That's exactly what it is.
All that is. And Kyrie Irving got caught up in his flat earth conspiracy ways. The combination of all of it was just too much for maybe Kevin Durant to overcome. And I think now he's just like, man, I have an opportunity to just get out.
James Harden wasn't a breath of fresh air either. Like the whole thing was nuts.
The James Harden thing is so funny because what was the quote he had? He just signed a new deal with the 76ers. And his quote is like, "Oh, I'm willing to take a pay cut because that's how bad I want to win." Did you see how much he's still getting paid? He's still getting paid. I think it's like $40 million a year still. Or it's like 30. He took like $4 million. It's like $36 million a year.
I'll take a pay cut.
It's in the 30s, I believe.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Either way, I could see if he was like, you know what? I'm going to go $15 million a year.
Yeah,
that's how bad I want to win.
Yeah. I want this team stacked.
He didn't do that.
That's my goal.
If you're Durant, I think it's just frustration. I don't think you can call him soft.
No, I don't think so.
Where
either.
he might be soft is he spends too much time on social media. He does read that shit. He does react to it.
He got caught with his burner accounts, all that stuff.
He's like the Drake of the NBA.
And I think
he gets in his feels.
I think he's a little younger than me, and that might even be what's going on. Like what I'm perceiving as softness is exactly what you're saying, the goofy social media stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
But maybe he's just a little younger than me. Like that's all it really is. It's generational. So it's
just so
I might just
tough.
be like the old guy being like, "Oh, stick to your team."
Yeah, it's just it's tough for me to criticize him for that. He's in the spotlight. He's making a ton of money.
Loves his mama.
Yeah. And I actually defend LeBron James for this too. Because he's made some dumb comments recently. What did he say? Celtics fans are racist.
Oh, yeah.
While he's one of the, he has some type of ownership stake in the Red Sox, right? I mean, him and Maverick Carter. So it's like, what are you doing? And LeBron James, he says,
but it's an easy thing to say.
Look, I think my point is these guys are such like high profile superstars, and they've been such high profile superstars since they were in high school.
Yeah.
That I always like to take a step back, put myself in their shoes and be like, how would I handle shit?
Oh, yeah.
To this point, if I have been them dealing with the cameras and the microphones and everybody around in the world in my face, in my private life for so many years since I was in high school, how would I handle this?
Way worse than LeBron.
I'd be in jail.
Yeah.
I'd probably have murdered someone right now. Like, honestly, LeBron.
I agree.
And like, so when LeBron says something stupid, I'm like, that's going to happen. The cameras are in his face. LeBron's never done anything stupid.
Nope, not one time. Not one time.
I have so much respect for him because it must be so easy. When your high school games are on ESPN, his high school games are on ESPN. Yeah. Think about that. What were you doing when you were in high school?
Not that.
Right? We were drinking down the beach, getting chased by the cops. I mean, LeBron James was playing high school games on ESPN.
Yeah.
And the cameras, it's just, there's more and more media attention now with social media and he's never done anything stupid. You're going to say some dumb stuff when the microphones are in your face as much as they're in their face.
Yeah.
And I kind of have the same reaction to Durant where I'm like, I just can't crush these guys. I can't call them soft. I can't call them bad people. I think they're just frustrated. And it is,
they live a weird life. It's a weird chosen life.
Back to Durant's case, it's like he just wants a fresh start. He thought he was getting a fresh start. Crazy shit in the world happened. Kyrie Irving's a lunatic. But I even found myself defending Kyrie a little bit because of the protocols just being ridiculous.
I agree.
At times, like,
He
but I
can't
get
play-
it. Kyrie's a lot, and we saw that here with the Celtics. He's a lot. Like the way he reacted to Celtics fans during the playoffs, it's like, was he flipping the bird to fans?
He's a guy who only
like,
has
dude.
yes men surrounded by him. Because
Dude.
he did an internet search and looked up flat Earth one night, and then the next day he went out to his friends and they were like, "Yeah, Kyrie, I think you're on to something there." That's what he strikes me as a guy who needs one person just to say, "Hey, smarten up."
I don't want to get too into Kyrie, but that's where I think Durant's at. Would he come to the Celtics? He almost did.
Yeah.
The Celtics, if the Celtics didn't bring fucking Kelly Olynyk to the meeting in the Hamptons back in 2016, remember that?
Yeah.
They went and met with him. They brought everyone. They brought Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They brought Brady. And then they were like, you know what?
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk a call. Can he make it to this one? If I was Durant and I'm in there, I'm like, Tom, what's up?
Who?
You guys brought Kelly Olynyk. That's who you're going to... you think I want to play with this dude? Yeah. I know I don't play with Tom Brady, but at least he's Tom Brady. Yeah. Like, that means something to me. You brought Kelly Olynyk in here to meet with me? Anyways, he signed with Golden State. I think he knew he was going to do that anyways. But, I mean, it's clear that the Celtics were a team he respected enough to want to give them a shot.
Yeah. And there's another shake where Danny Ainge drafts him in 2007. There's a weird...
I mean, things worked out, though, right? Things worked out.
Oh, yeah.
Things worked out. And so now, will they work out with a Durant trade? I would trade Jaylen Brown. I actually don't think the Nets are going to get anything better than a Jaylen Brown 2 first-round picks. I don't think they're going to get anything better than that.
I can't
imagine. If you're the
imagine.
Celtics, you respectfully say, hey, go see if you can do better than Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, still another month before. Yeah.
And we'll talk. We don't think you will be able to.
Yeah.
And if you can't, this is a pretty good deal for you. You know, this is a pretty good deal. You'll have Kyrie, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Who's the other kid there who hasn't played? I'm forgetting his name. I'm blanking on his name.
I forget too.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The kid who can't shoot.
Yeah.
I know. I can't think of his name, right?
That's not good, though.
That's not good at all. That's not good for his brand. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. If I'm the Celtics, I would trade Jaylen Brown. I am shocked at the amount of people that wouldn't trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. I'm shocked by that. If Durant was on the Celtics for the next 4 years, they would be a contender each and every year. If it's Brown and Tatum, they run into a Milwaukee Bucks team that has Chris Middleton.
Exactly.
They run into a 76ers team next year that's fully healthy. They might not get out of the first round.
They could easily knock it out of the first round.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean, with Durant, it's like, no, they definitely get into the conference finals.
And you don't have to restructure the team that much. That's the fun part of it. Like, you don't really have to go nuts.
That's why I wouldn't give Smart.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wanted to give Robert Williams, and I know there's going to be some people that disagree with me on that, but
if Robert
and
Williams
I like Robert Williams, but he already kind of banged up the knee.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the worst. This shouldn't be a factor, but he does have the worst nickname.
Well, what is
Time Lord?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think someone in the media made that up, and like everyone ran with it, and it's the dumbest nickname I've ever heard in my life.
Time Lord. That's a
Time Lord.
That's a Doctor Who reference or something.
It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't call him that. I refuse. But I would trade him if it meant, if you had to do it, I would trade him.
Yeah, that's it. If you're getting Durant,
I wouldn't
and
trade Smart, though. I wouldn't trade. I think Marcus Smart is untouchable. I think he's untouchable.
If you want to win a championship, that's the guy. Like, that's the little spice that gets you over there. Marcus Smart's frustrated in the regular season, but in the postseason, that's my guy. Like,
yeah. So there's that. I would trade Durant. I would send Jaylen Brown packing. If they don't, they'll still be exciting to watch. But I'd rather have Durant. I'm surprised at how many people wouldn't prefer that.
That might just be people not watching. That like they
believe me,
you have to be casual if you don't at least say like it's just so enticing to have Durant.
Jaylen Brown. Here's the thing: Jaylen Brown seems like a very good dude.
Yeah, he's smart.
Right? He does a lot of things in the community.
I know. I like him a lot.
I like him too. I think he cares about the things that he does too. You know, there's a lot of people. We might have talked about this when I was in here 2 years ago, with all the shit that was going on in the world that we addressed.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people that just virtue signal. You know, they throw something up on Instagram and they'd be like, look at me, I care.
Yeah.
You know them personally and you're like, dude, the things you were saying the other night, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
And you don't get any of that from him.
You don't care. You just want people to think you care.
And you don't get even a speck of that from him.
That's not that with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I think Jaylen Brown is one of those guys. I put him in the same category with the McCourty twins.
Yeah. People
who do things for the community because they care. And it's not virtue signaling.
And it's real. You can just tell it's real. Yeah. You can just tell.
I think he has...
But again, Kevin Durant.
But again, we're talking basketball here. Yeah. That's how I'm analyzing this trade breakdown, is Kevin Durant. That's the guy.
It's not the nice guy award. It's the...
No. And I'm sure Durant does stuff for the community too.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know what he does because he's not in our community
he's not
like Jaylen Brown is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if he came in, he would be. Either way, we get that. And then we have, I'll get to the biggest story of the summer in just a minute, but we have the Major League Baseball trade deadline was yesterday. Okay. We're recording this on Wednesday. The trade deadline was Tuesday. The Red Sox made moves Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
I like what they did for the most part. There is some things that confuse me. Like, I feel like this was Chaim Bloom being what Chaim Bloom was brought here to be. Someone who's going to manage the money situation, and he's being told to, right? He's being told
he has an edict.
While also, making the moves to dump and bring in prospects. So that was the move. Vasquez goes to Houston. I think that was a great move. I like Vasquez. A lot of people were frustrated with that. We're prisoners of the moment. Where
you love your guys.
In love with guys. People fell in love with Jaylen Brown. People fall in love with Christian Vasquez. He's the catcher of the Red Sox. I want to say since 2019, he's caught more games than anyone in Major League Baseball. I think. I could have that wrong. But he's caught a lot, right? And he seemed to be almost like one of the unofficial leaders of this team.
Yeah.
He was having a great year. Borderline all-star. People were saying that he should have made the all-star game. I think he's hitting 280. I don't think he should have made the all-star game. I didn't agree with that argument. But he's having a good year. But he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. And catches, they don't last very long.
No, it's weird. They just pop up at weird times,
He looks like a guy putting on some weight, too. I know he loved it here. I know that the team loved him, but it's a business. Like they came out and said. They kept coming out and saying it's a business, and he was going to be a free agent. Catches fall off like that. He's been here for a long time. I want to say he got drafted in did he get drafted in 2008? He's been on the team since 2014, I believe.
At least, yeah.
So almost 10 years. That's a long time for a catcher. And it was just time is up. And his value was high enough where you got two prospects. Let's see what those prospects are going to be. You brought in another catcher from Chicago. I know nothing about him. You brought in the outfielder, Tommy Pham from Cincinnati. I don't know much about him.
I don't either.
He could be serviceable, right? But you bring in Eric Hosmer. The part of the Eric Hosmer deal is that you got San Diego to pay his salary.
Oh, so then
Hosmer's under contract for, I think, 3 more seasons. The problem is he can opt out after this year.
Oh, okay.
He had $44 million left. The Padres picked up the rest of it, or most of it, a significant amount. Let's say they picked up like $35 million. Either way. What I don't understand about everything the Red Sox did was, in that deal for Hosmer, they gave up Jay Groom, lefty pitcher, big kid, first round pick a couple years ago. I think he was like 12 overall. 12th overall pick.
And this seems like it could be a rental situation.
And it's like, wait a minute. So did they put a gun? Did the Padres put a gun to your head and say, you give us Jay Groom or we won't pay Hosmer's salary? And you did it? Because to me, that's a move where it's like, if you're concerned about paying players, right? You're concerned about salary and luxury tax, then isn't Jay Groom your guy who you will have control over? Right? I know first round pick, and I think some rules in baseball have changed on that with salaries for first rounders, if I'm correct. But I just feel like it didn't really make much sense to put Jay Groom in that trade. Like, you can't pick up Hosmer's salary if it means keeping Jay Groom. I don't know. That didn't make sense to me. Hosmer's a great addition. They needed a first baseman. Franchi Cordero, there was some things promising about his offensive potential. He definitely fixed some things, but it wasn't good enough defensively to keep him around. I think they optioned him down to Worcester, I think. So I like Hosmer. I wish they got a starting pitcher. I don't know where they're going to end up. It's a tough year. But overall, I'm not upset about the Vasquez trade. There are some people upset with it. Some people who are like, I'm so confused what the Red Sox are doing. I'm not really confused of the guy they sent out and the guy they brought in. I'm confused about the prospect that they added to it at the last minute to get San Diego to pay for the salary because it seems counterproductive in a way. Yeah. Right? You have a young kid under your control.
Where where you have a good ability to dictate.
And Hosmer can opt out at the end of the season. I don't know. There's just something that... But I like the addition of Hosmer, so I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't like what they did for the major league roster. I do. We'll see what happens.
But if they don't do that trade, their trade deadline doesn't look great. So maybe it's even that.
I don't think the trade deadline looks great anyways.
Yeah.
I definitely think...
But it's almost like you're showing your boss, like, look I did some work.
Yeah, look, I think
there's a lot of that.
I don't mean to knock Chaim Bloom with this because I do like the guy. But let's be honest. He's a puppet.
Yeah, it's what you said. Like he has rules. He has where they want to move the business to, and he's the man who's moving the business.
He's a puppet.
Yeah.
He's still pulling the trigger on things. He's getting creative. I'm sure it's a lot of his ideas flowing with his scouts and his.
But it's within
staff.
A box. It's within a box.
Yeah, it's hey, but you got to do it within.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z because of the money.
This is our 5-year plan. This is our 5-year plan.
What I hope. I was wondering if they were going to trade JD Martinez. He's going to be a free agent. I would have been okay with that. I know that sounds crazy, but I kind of see his game falling off a little bit at the plate. He's going to be a free agent. What could you have got for him? Could you have got a young pitcher?
Yeah.
Could you have had a 3-team deal where Martinez goes to a contender? A contender is sending you prospects, and you're flipping those prospects to another team who's out of it to get a starting pitcher? I would have done that. Because Devers is back now. He hit another bomb last night. I would have entertained a JD Martinez trade. Here's what I think they can't do. And I hope this report is false, but they offered Rafael Devers, 8 years and $168 million, I think it was low. It was like $21 million a year. If I'm Rafael Devers, yeah. I'm not even talking to them again at all. I'm like, you're out.
I'm done.
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? And the guy that they compared him to was Matt Olson on the Braves. Solid player.
Yeah, but
took a hometown discount. Got traded, I think, from Oakland, and then he's from Atlanta. He took a hometown discount.
Yeah.
His numbers, Olson probably could have got 25, 26 mil per year. He ended up taking 20, 21.
So they're being disingenuous comparing those two situations.
Comparing him to Matt Olson, and it's like, no, dude, you can't do that. And this frustrates me because I actually was okay with the Mookie Betts trade, thinking that they were going to use that money to give it to Devers and Bogarts. And now that it looks like they're not going to do either of those two things, I'm like, that's what you offered Devers after trading Mookie Betts? If I'm Devers, I'm telling you to pound sand. Pound sand, guys. I'm not playing this game with you.
They make some very
$21 million
decisions.
a year? Like, no. You got Juan Soto rejected like a $450 million deal, and they had to ship him out of town. So I don't know what they're doing with Devers, but I tell you what, if they don't bring him back, I'm going to be handcuffing myself to a seat behind home plate, and I am going to have a hunger strike at Fenway. Okay, because they do not want to mess with me by not bringing Devers back. I'm telling you that right now. They can't do that. They can't do that to you. They can't do that to me. They can't do that to us. I'm not going to let that happen. So they better figure this out. Sit down with Devers.
And do the right thing.
Do the right thing and go, we fucked up, guys. We messed up. We don't know what we were thinking. COVID is in the air still. We don't know what we're doing.
Crazy.
We were wearing masks.
Yeah.
in our cars driving to work. We weren't even thinking straight. We can't believe we only offered you $21 million. Here's $35 million a year.
Yeah. It was
10 years.
The 21 was a typo.
Here's a $350 million deal. We're going to double that initial offer.
Yeah.
But it's take it or leave it right now. Right? I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I can't believe they only offered him that.
It's insulting. You have to, if I was him, I wouldn't even call my management. I'm like, I'm not dealing with, I don't even want you to call them. I'll call them. We're done.
We're done. Don't even, if they call again, just don't answer. It's over. We're going to play this out, and then we're going to become free agent, and then, we're going to pull an Aaron Judge and probably take off.
Yeah.
He's probably gone, I would assume.
Yeah.
He hits a home run every night.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a monster. That guy is
he's
so
built for that place,
big.
too. He's built for that place.
Yeah. I mean, he's built for anywhere.
Yeah,
he's huge. He's huge.
That's a good point.
So that's what happened. Those are my Red Sox thoughts, but not the biggest story of the summer.
Yeah, what is the biggest story?
What do you think? I think the biggest story.
I have no idea. I have no clue.
You don't know?
No. I don't know where your head's at with this one. I have no idea.
There's actually two stories that are the biggest stories. One, this isn't the biggest story, but it's probably number two. Is the whole, and this kind of brings me back. I meant to open with this, and then we got caught up in my career and whatever. LIV Golf.
Oh, that, yeah.
Have you been following that story?
Very loosely. When Charles Barkley started talking about it, I poked my eye.
They did sign Barkley.
No.
They didn't.
No, I think what he wanted was walk away from TNT money, and I don't think he got that. So I think he's right now, he's taking the Devers approach and taking a seat.
I think he'll be there. If he isn't there already, I think he'll be there. Everybody's jumping ship. Yeah. They're offering so much money.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
In the PGA, you got to win the tournament. You got to get your own sponsorships. LIV Golf, they're like, hey, Dustin Johnson, here's $125 million.
Yeah.
Greg Norman was on, what was he on? He was on was it Tucker Carlson? I don't know. It might have been Tucker Carlson. Fox News. I think he was on that show. He was on a show the other night. Saw it on YouTube, and he said Tiger Woods, he confirmed Tiger Woods was offered $800 million to go to LIV. $800 million. He rejected it. People are like, oh, he's such a hero. And I'm like, no, he doesn't need $800 million. Like, the people who are criticizing these guys, to me, is a little too much. Because, and Greg Norman said this too, he said the PGA has about 27 sponsors that are doing business with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is funding LIV Golf. He's like, but the PGA, they're not making sense. Yeah. They have 27 sponsors that do regular business with Saudi Arabia. And the PGA isn't going to those sponsors being like, hey, we're not doing business with you. We're not taking your money until you get out of there.
Yeah.
So it's hypocritical. And they're coming after the players who are leaving. If the PGA was smart, they would, and I'm going to connect this. So here we go. I'm going to connect the dots here. They would take the Vince McMahon approach. Vince McMahon, that's the biggest story of the summer.
Yeah.
They would take the Vince McMahon approach. If the PGA Tour was smart, they would do what's best for business. They don't have to say, hey, we're going to start taking that blood money too, like Vince McMahon and WWE does when they do shows in Saudi Arabia. But they can say, you know what? Let's have PGA Tour versus LIV at the end of the year. Right?
How great
Isn't
would
that
be?
what's best for business?
And let's see.
Do what's best for business.
Yeah. And let's see. You get your guys. We get our guys.
They're dropping the ball. They're cutting guys out of the PGA Tour events. Yeah. They're saying, we don't want you involved in any capacity. It's a joke. That's bad business.
Yeah.
They want to run the golf monopoly, but that's just not look, this isn't going to work that way. I could see if it was just a couple like smaller names. No.
It's too much
Brooks
money.
Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson. I think they just got the captain of the Ryder Cup.
In the genie's out of the bottle at this point.
Bubba Watson,
They're legitimate. They're legitimate. You have to deal with them. That's what the PGA has to go to. Like,
Rory McIlroy is crying about it. It's like, dude, this is such a bad look. And I'm not sitting here like, waving a Saudi flag.
No.
But I'm just telling you, this is a sport in which these guys clearly want guaranteed money. They're all taking some of that money and dishing it to charity as well. That can't be overlooked.
Yeah.
And let's not act like the PGA Tour has never jumped into bed with a shady organization or a shady government. They have. I just told you.
Yeah.
They have sponsors that are in bed with Saudi Arabia. So, like, the PGA is playing it the wrong way. They should be taking the Vince McMahon approach and do what's best for business, or you're fired. Biggest story of the summer. Vinnie Mac out.
Gone.
Retired. What'd you think of that?
I've been out of wrestling for probably.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I like it, and I always come back in Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I'll always watch those, but I haven't loved it for 3, 4, 5 years. But I have a place in my heart for Vince McMahon. I love Vince McMahon, and I will always love Vince McMahon. I know. I don't even know what he did. I didn't even read it. But I know.
I don't know what he did. You should probably look into that. I know what he did. And you know what? I actually don't think anybody knows what he did.
No, I know like he paid off.
He's not a perfect guy. We know that. But if you're just finding that out this month, like, what have you been watching? Like, did you not watch WWE during the Attitude Era? Like, go look at Vince McMahon clips, and there are some hilarious clips of things he was doing.
He's a showman,
how are you
but he's a showman.
Away with that then,
yeah.
Like, how are you even getting away with that then? It's crazy. But Vince McMahon, so he was giving hush money to girls that he allegedly was having
some kind of affair.
He was having affairs with. You know, I think the allegations get serious. Look, is it illegal to
use company
cheating on his
funds?
wife? Like, is that really what we're talking about here? No, but we're talking about girls who worked in the WWF at the time.
This is a power dynamic situation. It's not.
This is like, you know, he's holding the gun to their head like, you're not going to have a job unless you do this. It's like, okay, you can't do that.
Yeah, like, it's completely different.
Like, you can't do that, dude. Like, that's wrong.
But this is the problem.
Again, this is allegedly.
Yeah.
You know, did he pay the hush money?
It looks like he did.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in the books.
Did he pay the hush money because he didn't want to get caught cheating, or did he pay the hush money because he didn't want all the other details of, you know,
whatever horrible
ultimatums that he put in with these affairs? I feel like those are two different things that we should be talking about. Now, look, again, Vince McMahon is not a perfect dude, and I'm not trying to defend him in any way, shape, or form. But as a wrestling fan, like you said,
I love Vince.
The wrestling aspect of it is the WWE. I mean, I've been a fan since Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, WrestleMania 5. Hulk Hogan, what was WrestleMania 4 was Macho Man. They had the tournament for the title. Macho Man beat Million Dollar Man in the finals. That was WrestleMania 4. We could do WrestleMania trivia all day. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But we don't have much time. I've been here way too long. But this is the biggest story of the summer. Vince McMahon has to step down as a CEO, put Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, in charge. Then he has to retire because, you know, this stuff was just probably getting to a point where even everybody around him in WWE was like, dude,
you have to go. Because
here's what's best for business.
Because
you leaving.
You know how you know that's true, too? Because he came out the first Raw after all this.
And SmackDown.
Yeah, and SmackDown. He came out and kind of just showed his face. Kind of smugly showed his face, too.
Well, he was basically like, you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
That's all he did was say like 2 words. He said like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like,
welcome
WWE, then, now, forever, together, through the mic.
Yeah.
And then he came out the next show and said, oh, John Cena is going to be here next week. And he threw the mic. And then he almost fell out of the ring. But then I think it just got too crazy.
Yeah. So.
And people were just probably forcing him. You know,
which is when I stopped looking at the details. I'm like, oh, he probably did something horrible.
I mean, look, if Stephanie, but he might be looking at it too, going, hey, if Stephanie and Triple H are now,
and Triple H came back into the fold too.
Triple H is married to Stephanie. I'm sure they still talk. Yeah. I'm sure Vince McMahon is not just like sitting by the pool every day.
Yeah, exactly.
He's involved a little bit, right?
Yeah,
he's got to be. Like, I know he retired. It was a Twitter statement, social media statement. He's still involved. But Vince McMahon, I'm not trying to defend him in any way, shape, or form. He's not a perfect person, as we know. He did some things that were wrong.
Yeah.
I wish he didn't. I think there's a lot of people that wish he didn't. But the bottom line is, professional wrestling It's got a special place in my heart. I mean, you don't watch? I still watch.
Okay.
I still watch WWE. I wish I could watch AEW, but I have Fubo TV.
Oh, yeah.
And the Turner channels, TNT, TBS, they're not on Fubo. So Tony Khan, if you're listening or watching, like figure that out. Also, if you need me to manage the Young Bucks, I will come manage the Young Bucks. Okay? I will do that. Because I would love to get involved in some type of managerial role or broadcasting role in pro wrestling. Before COVID, I was doing some stuff.
No, I remember
with UFO wrestling. I was super kicking people in the ring. I was ring announcing. I even did play-by-play for Northeast Wrestling with Matt Taven. I was doing a wrestling podcast with Matt Taven.
Oh, wow.
I did play-by-play for a couple different guys. Jerry Lawler fought. This was like 2019 before
the
COVID.
King. Another guy, not a great guy, but I still love.
I was down in a basketball gym, a CYO gym in Connecticut, doing this. Who else fought? Darby Allin, who's now a big name in AEW.
I know the name.
Carmelo Hayes, who's in NXT.
Yeah.
I forget what his name was then. Bubba Ray Dudley came out and interfered in the match. I think he put the one-man thrill ride through a table.
I would love
it. It's crazy.
That's my era. I'm an attitude era guy. So Bubba Ray, the last days, like.
So he showed up. So there was I was trying to get my foot in the door, and then COVID, and then everything that we've talked about. I would still love to do it. I would still love to do something. Especially now I see Pat McAfee, and he's doing all this shit. He's got a match at WrestleMania. Like, good for him. He's killing it.
Great match too at WrestleMania.
He is doing everything that I wanted to do with my broadcasting career, having the YouTube show, getting my foot in the door in WWE, getting nuts, getting put through a table. Like, I wanted to do that shit. I'm not ruling it out. Like, it's still a goal of mine. I still want to do that shit. And, seeing someone like McAfee get involved in that way, shape, and form, I guess it has re-sparked my interest as to what's possible and what's not. Now, he was a pro athlete. He had way more popularity than I did. So that certainly helped him. He's also like 6'3", I think.
He's a big boy.
I'm 5'7". I can hang. I might be able to hang with Rey Mysterio.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
High flying Danny Picard.
Yeah, I can't high fly, but I'll give you a super kick. I'll hit you with a super kick. That's why I said I'll manage the Young Bucks. We'll just have a super kick party. But I would love to watch AEW. I can't because they're on TBS TNT.
Yeah.
I don't have Fubo. You know why I got rid of YouTube TV to get Fubo?
Because of.
Do you know why? This is another beef I have.
Nesson? Is Nesson on it?
Excuse me?
Is Nesson on
Nesson.
it? Yeah.
If you let me sit here and rant, we'll go all night. So we're going to have to cut this off at some point. But I cannot believe that the Red Sox hitched their wagon to such a shitty streaming service like Fubo TV. It is horrible. I don't know why they did it. And every channel is on YouTube TV other than Nesson. So when you look at it like, they had a beef. YouTube TV and Nesson had a beef. I wonder whose fault it was. Well,
yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. Every other channel on planet Earth is on YouTube TV. So whose fault is it? It's Nesson's. I can't believe the Red Sox. And now the Red Sox have their own streaming service?
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Are you paying? You paying for that?
No.
I'm not, what is it? $30 a month?
It's something like
dude. What's going on?
They live in their own world.
This show's on Patreon, so I can make a couple bucks. You want me to spend that on their Nesson platform? No, I don't think so. Another company that rejected me a million times. Not happening. But anyways, I can't watch AEW. I have Fubo. I still watch WWE. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. We just had SummerSlam on Saturday night. You didn't watch SummerSlam?
I did. I watched it the day after, though. I had to watch UFC on the Saturday thing. I was out for so long, they switched to Saturdays, and I was trying to watch a bunch of them, and I just kept missing them. What's the Saturday thing? I don't even know when that happened. I hate that. It's Sunday. I watch wrestling on Sunday.
You know what?
That's what I do.
So you're a big UFC guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't.
I've watched it my entire life, but basically the start of the pandemic, I really got into it. Really? And now it's fun because you got to watch it for like 2 years because then you start to know everybody.
I mean, I'll watch the big fights.
Yeah. And that's where I was. Right. That's what I used
Same
to
with boxing. I'll watch the big. I'm more of a boxing guy than UFC though.
I used to be, but less and
now
less.
They're mixing the two, right? The Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's in WWE.
Yeah. And great. Another great WrestleMania
honestly
performance.
Good for them. Like, good for them. I know a lot of people who cringe at those two.
I like them.
But it's like,
they're doing it. They're doing it.
Like, these two got out there and they just...
Something out of nothing.
Just ballsy.
Yeah, I agree.
And like,
and of course,
part of me that's jealous because those are things that I was trying to do, like with my show, and I failed. Like I couldn't get it to that level that they took it. But I'm not going to be bitter about what they're doing because, like, dude, Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
And now he just jumped through a table at SummerSlam. Right, he fought The Miz from the top rope through a table. Like, I don't want to fight Floyd Mayweather, but I do want to jump off the top rope through a table at SummerSlam and fight at WrestleMania. Like, of course. Good for them. And I don't even know. Because boxing. Jake Paul is a boxer now with Logan Paul. So, yeah, I'm more of a boxer than a UFC fan. But WWE, the Saturday night pay-per-views, I don't hate them. What I do hate is the 2-night WrestleManias.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Don't
like that.
No.
It's too
much. Figure it out in one show.
Have a special feel. If you want to go from 6 to midnight on Sunday night, be my guest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't give me 2 nights of 7 to midnight.
Yeah.
Like, now you're like forcing storylines and there's too many people involved and
the flow's weird.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because by the time you got this, I'll talk about this past WrestleMania. You have Saturday night, and then you have Sunday night. The main event of main events at WrestleMania was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
By the time you got to Sunday night at 11:15, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm like, dude, I've watched way too much wrestling right now.
Brother.
And you want me to be like involved and invested in this match that you've been pumping up for months? It's a tough strategy. I don't know why they like it. Advertising, ticket sales, I guess it's ticket sales, right? They fill up a stadium, but how much are they actually filling up the stadium 2 nights in a row? Because I do feel like they're blocking off
they only show you what they want.
Stadium.
Yeah.
So I don't like the 2-night pay-per-view. I think it takes away from the special feel of what's happening. But I just watched SummerSlam. Again, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again. I love it.
Lesnar came down with the tractor. I enjoyed it.
Came down with the tractor. It was great. It was great. I also loved. I hate that he's out because I think the storyline is going to be. I think this is the guy who's going to ultimately be the next full-time champion, Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Do you pay any attention to
I love Cody Rhodes. Yeah, well, I know everything. I know like the whole history of the WWE or WWF.
You know how he started AEW basically and then came back to WWE.
Yeah.
A lot of people were shocked by it. I wasn't.
Well, because he's a guy who's he's a superstar. He's gonna go wherever you give him the money. That's really what it is.
Well, no,
I was under the impression that he owned part of AEW.
I think he was an executive vice president.
Okay.
And they had a couple of those. A couple of the wrestlers were involved from the beginning. But I saw what Cody Rhodes did when he left WWE because they weren't using him properly. They weren't valuing him as a superstar. They weren't putting him on the top of the card. They weren't giving him his title shot. He left and he went to the indie scene. And he did his own thing. He went to Japan. He joined Bullet Club. He's not going to say this, but he kind of used those guys. He kind of used that brand, the popularity of Bullet Club and the Young Bucks. I'm not knocking him for it. I think it was brilliant. And then he took those guys together. They brought Jericho, Kenny Omega, some of the best in the world. And they started AEW. They got the funding from Tony Khan. They got the TV deal with Turner and TBS and TNT. And then he brought it to a level and he saw an opening across the street. He built himself up to be this superstar, this mega superstar that WWE wouldn't let him build. He built it without them. And then he had WWE going, all right, you proved this wrong.
Yeah.
You're a mega superstar. We're going to put you in the main event storyline. He's going to be the next full-time champ. Cody Rhodes in WWE. He got hurt.
Had he
bad injury. But I love his story because...
Torres Peck, right?
I love his story. Torres Peck.
Oof.
I love his story because I kind of feel like when he left WWE, like I felt that. You know, I felt that. I like to go to the independents to do his own thing.
To create his value that he knew he had.
I felt that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that. And he did it. He got it done. And he got his title shot. And he's going to get his title shot. And I think how this is going to play out, this is just my opinion. The Rock is going to fight Roman Reigns.
Ooh, I like that.
And I don't know if it's going to be this WrestleMania coming up. I think it might be the next one. I think it might be the next one. And I think The Rock is going to win the title. WrestleMania 40. Going to win the title. Cody Rhodes is going to have the money in the bank. He's going to cash in and beat The Rock.
Wow.
And
that's
wrestling has more than one royal family. You got the family, the bloodline, The Rock, Roman Reigns. It's a family battle. And then all of a sudden it's wrestling has more than one royal family. Cody comes in. He's the champ. That's the way they need to do it. They might have been preparing to do that this year and then Cody got hurt.
Yeah.
Before Money in the Bank. But if they could delay that storyline, I think that would be fantastic. That's the way they should do it. But I do think Cody wouldn't have gone back to WWE if he didn't know that he was going to be involved in the WWE Championship.
Yeah, because he's not leaving because they're not involving him to not go back without some kind of assurance.
I don't think he had any hatred for AEW.
No, they had.
But I think he had a strategy of, I'm going to build myself up to the point where I'm going to get my title shot at WWE someday. Here's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And they'll never admit that. He'll never admit that publicly. But I could see his wheels spinning.
Well, there's a long history.
I could see that happening.
There's a long history of Vince just like basically destroying his father and his family.
Dusty, yeah.
Yeah, like he put him in polka dots. Like that was to make him look like a fool.
I don't want to say, did he destroy him? I mean,
not
Dusty
destroy.
Rhodes
I'm not saying that, but they never put him over. They never wanted to put him over.
No, he didn't win the WWF Championship, right?
No.
The Winged Eagle
belt,
which is the best belt.
Oh,
Cody's, I heard he's going to bring that back when he wins, too.
They should.
He should.
That's a belt
it's the
I
best
think
belt.
of. When I think
the
of
only
the
belt I would purchase myself.
Yeah. I've been on their website before.
I have like a fake plastic one, but I'm talking about the real one.
No, I've been on
That's the only one I would purchase.
I'm like, you don't buy this. Don't buy this.
I mean, I couldn't. I don't have the money to. If I did, I would. But anyways, WWE, Vince McMahon.
I think you're right. I think that is the biggest story.
It's the biggest story of the summer.
Because it's a complete change. It's a complete shock. I never thought he would. It's almost like The Undertaker losing.
That was shocking, too. Ric Flair just had a last match.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
Yeah, it was like an independent match or something.
That's sad.
It's very sad. I wish he didn't do that. Because he was in tough shape for a little bit, too.
Yeah, he had a multiple organ failure.
Now he's back in the ring wrestling. He can't be doing that. But anyways, the Vince McMahon stuff, you know, I'm not defending him in any way, but I think that's the biggest story. And I just look at it from afar, and I wish that guys like John Cena and The Rock, they didn't even thank him.
They didn't say anything.
They're like avoiding it. And I think that is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Because without Vince McMahon, where's The Rock? What do you think The Rock's doing right now without Vince McMahon?
I don't know. Maybe some weird football league he's trying to start
coordinator
up.
For
Honestly, for nothing.
A head coach, D1 football?
At best.
Maybe an NFL coach?
Maybe. But
Could be an NFL coach. Maybe a personal trainer? I don't know. Maybe a YouTube star personal trainer, but nowhere close to the popularity he has now. And where would John Cena be without Vince McMahon? Where would he be? A bodybuilder? Like, what are we talking about here? These guys can't go out of their way to send out a tweet thanking Vince McMahon. And I get it. Those guys put in the work. I'm not trying to say they didn't. But there's a lot of people
they're part of the Hollywood
in the history of wrestling that have put in the same amount of work as them that were reaching for that brass ring that Vince McMahon wouldn't let them get it.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon ultimately in a business in which he is calling the shots. That's
judge, jury, executioner.
It's predetermined.
Yeah.
And he's the guy determining who's getting the push and who's not. He chose to give The Rock. I know The Rock, John Cena, they worked hard. They were talented. Sure. But if Vince doesn't give them that push, they're just any other guy that's working hard.
And there's a lot of them.
And where would they be without Vince? And like they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on.
Exactly.
You know, I just think that it is. I hate seeing it. Like they didn't send out anything. Maybe I missed it.
No,
But they didn't. I don't even think Stone Cold did.
I don't think so either.
No. And that's bullshit.
And
that is bullshit.
And that's a guy who would do it, I think. Because the other two, they're Hollywood guys now. They're not swimming against that stream. So I understand why they didn't. I don't like it either, but I understand. But Stone Cold, so he's an independent voice. He's not clamoring for movies. He's not.
And it's not like the people at WWE are telling them not to do it. Stephanie got in the ring and started a thank you, Vince chant.
Yeah.
So like, okay. And then I'm thinking like, well, if it was that bad, would Stephanie be doing this?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, to me, I can't believe that Cena and The Rock didn't come out and thank Vince McMahon publicly. I can't believe it. They would be nowhere without him.
Yeah.
They really would. They wouldn't be anywhere.
Stone Cold, you're right.
Compared to where they are now, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be Hollywood
They did
superstars.
the hours, they work, but it's a different thing.
They wouldn't be.
It's a different level.
Vince. So that's the biggest story. Where does WWE go? I think they're in great shape with Triple H and Stephanie at the helm. I still think Vince is probably involved in some capacity.
Yeah.
That, you know.
I think we'll see him again on TV.
Oh, we're definitely going to see him again.
Yeah. In the I'm fired, you're fired boss stage.
You know, No Chance in Hell music playing.
Yeah. And that's the night I'll watch again.
Well, I'll watch when it happens. It's really the only industry where guys come back no matter what.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless they die.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm just trying to call it what it is. I mean, right?
And a lot of them do.
Yeah. So let's hope Vince still around for a little bit, and
it's in good shape.
I think we'll see him again. You're right, but that's the biggest story. I mean, that's just such a huge story.
I think you're right. I wasn't even thinking that.
I was shocked to see all this play out. Is it cancel culture?
He did
maybe to an extent. I mean, he did some shit. You
exactly.
know, he's paying the price. I do find it to be somewhat
in character.
I find it to be somewhat phony, considering everybody knew.
Yeah, see, I'm not shocked at all.
You know, and it's just coming out now.
Yeah. I think it came in an audit. I think they were looking at the books. And
I think they would try. They brought in this guy.
The hell is this money?
To maybe sell the company.
Yeah.
To NBC, I think.
That makes sense.
They were bringing guys in to, they were getting rid of blood on TV to increase the sale.
And they started to lose me.
Yeah, that's when they lost you. No more blood. All right. Well, that's what I got. I don't know when you'll hear from me next. We got a long road here with construction at Broadway Golf Club, but when we do have it done, I hope to see you in there.
Hell yeah, I'll definitely come. I'm definitely coming.
We'll get you some lessons.
I need them.
We'll get you to shoot in the 80s when you get back out in the course.
Exactly. That's exactly what I need.
And yeah, I'm excited, but I felt the need to jump back on here.
And you're welcome anytime.
And
I love
because
it.
Look, thank you. Thanks for having me. I disappeared. And I know a lot of people were wondering what the hell was going on. And I explained it at the beginning. There was frustration and there was some other things going on in my life. And then there was this project I'm working on. And I just needed to step out of the media game. The plan was for it to be temporary. The plan is still for it to be temporary. I mean, I don't want to sit here. And again, I'm not calling it a comeback yet. There are discussions ongoing, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to commit to returning full time in any capacity in the media, but if there's money somewhere and it's right, then, never say never. And with the podcast, again, if there's some type of situation where there's money coming in for it and there's, again, some things we're working on, never say never.
Exactly.
But this is one first in 2 years. So thanks for having me.
Very welcome.
Subscribe to the Noonan Show. This is the Will Noonan or the
Noonan Show.
Brick Wall Magic Studios.
Wall Magic Studio.
He's Paul Price. I'm Danny Picard. Subscribe on YouTube, or maybe this is on Patreon. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with it. I don't know where we're putting it. I don't even know if I'm on iTunes anymore. I haven't Spotify. Maybe. I don't even know. I haven't paid attention to it. I've been so out of the game. I think my website is still up and running. I think. I think my YouTube is still up and running.
It is.
It is.
I saw it today.
Okay. Yeah, people are still watching 363, the road to the Celtic 3-on-3 anyways, I think. But I'm on Instagram. That's my only form of communication, at Danny Picard. I don't use Twitter anymore. It's just foolish. I spend like 2 minutes on it and I get frustrated and I'm like, I'm out. Can't do it. But follow me on Instagram, at Danny Picard. And if this is on Patreon, thank you for spending the money. If it's not, thank you for watching on YouTube or listening wherever we put this. So, Paul, thanks for having me.
Anytime, Danny.
I'll talk to everybody again at some point. See ya.
Bye.